Hi BookTube, Sarah here, and welcome to another weekly reading vlog. Today is Saturday, November the 3rd, and it's just after 5 at night. I have had a pretty relaxing day so far. I made myself a little to-do list this morning of things that I wanted to get done today, and so far I'm checking items off that list, which is great. They were to finish a couple books, and I've already finished 2 of the 3 that I set myself out to finish. All of them I was almost finished anyway. So I'm going to start this week off with a great start. And I also wanted to post a couple blog posts. And I got one done, and I am working on the other one, or will be working on the other one. So that's exciting too. But before I get into all the reading stuff, as usual, I like to tell you guys what I have been working on knitting-wise this week. And yeah, so I thought I'd start there. So the only thing I'm not going to show you guys is the one pair of socks I was knitting. If you guys watched last week's vlog, I showed you the pink and orange socks, the ones that I said reminded me of Big Bird's leg, or Big Bird's legs, I should say. And I put those to the side for right now. I get really overwhelmed with, not overwhelmed with my knitting, that's a bad phrase to use. But if I have a lot of projects on the go, I feel like nothing gets finished. So I've decided to put those socks to the side for now. When I finish the current socks that I am knitting at work on lunch, then I will finish those ones off, and those will become my new work socks, or my new work knitting, essentially, until I get them done. And then after that, I can start my Christmas socks for the year, which is very exciting. I can't wait for those. But yeah, so to start off with, so like I said, you won't see those this week. I will show those to you hopefully in the next few weeks when I get these socks done, which are my current work socks. And these are, as I've said every week, are Hermione's Everyday Socks is the pattern by Erica Luter. So the little witch stitch markers where I was last week. So I'm about halfway done the toe. And these are moving pretty quickly now, actually. So I'm quite loving them. The pattern's really nice. You know, the yarn is lovely. This is Spun Right Rounds. The colorway is Combat Boots and Baby Doll Dresses. I absolutely love it. So yeah, the first sock is already done. This is the second sock. Bernard jumps at every little thing. I'm sorry, I just kind of giggled because he was over by the door and I guess somebody's outside in the hallway. He's a scaredy cat. So yeah, so those are the socks. So not a lot of progress, but still I got through a couple of repeats, and like I said, I'm about halfway done the foot at this point. So that is that. The next thing is my sweater. Excuse me for reaching down, guys, while I talk to you. I do apologize. Is my cardigan, the rose cardigan. This is by Andrea Mowry. And I didn't get, it doesn't seem like I got very far. So this is what I mean. Because I did spend a bunch of days this week knitting on those other socks, there were other things that I wanted to, you know, I like showing progress. I like getting progress done and feeling like I've done something, which is part of the reason I love sitting down and showing you guys this every week, because it gives me a reason to kind of see where I am week to week and how far I'm getting on things. So I did not get a lot further on this, but it is quite long now. So the fish is where I was last Saturday. So I got that much done. Not a whole heck of a lot, but I'm getting closer to actually finishing this panel. I'm hoping I should get it done by next Saturday and be able to start on the next one. So this one's going to be rather boring to look at every week because it's essentially, I gotta knit 4 of these suckers. And then when I get to piece it all together, it'll look super cool. So yeah, so that's that. And the yarn I'm using is Knit Picks. Is it Brava Sport? Knit Picks Brava Sport, and the color is Seraphim. So yeah, I'm really loving it. I love that blue-gray, or the purple-gray color. I just think it's absolutely beautiful. So yeah, and I'm loving these new needles that I'm knitting them on. I bought these when I was away at the festival a couple weeks ago. These are Knit Picks. They're not Knit Picks. They're Knitter's Pride. I can't remember the name of them now. Oh, how silly of me. I will try to remember to put the name of them down there, but they're actually aluminum and they're hollow. But they're a nice slick needle because they're metal, but they're aluminum. You know what I mean. They're not wood needles. I'm not a fan of wood needles. I find they stick too much. They're great for beginner knitters. Wooden needles are great for beginner knitters because your yarn isn't going to go flying off your needle. But, you know, I prefer them because they're not as sticky. But these are great, and I actually just treated myself to a set of them on Amazon. They had them for $60 US, I think it was, for the interchangeable sets. So this is a US 4, so I get a US 4 to a US 10. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So seven tips. So you just get the tips, And then I have a ton of cords that I can attach to them because these are fantastic. So I was really, really pleased with that. And they're a special set, I think. And I think that these tip parts are actually shorter. And they're meant to be used with a shorter cable to knit stuff like hats and stuff. But I'll use them for every project because I just think they're fantastic. So yeah, so there's that. And then the last thing are the mittens that I was working on. So I showed you guys last week I'm doing a pair of mittens called Something Wicked that have this beautiful cable pattern on them. So what happened was, excuse me, let me reach for that, is that I was knitting on them last night and I had knit like to here on the mitten. Like, so I did the ribbing and I knit like this much. I think I did like 2 out of the 3 pattern repeats. And then I was looking at the yarn and they're very heavily cabled and they're beautiful. But the problem is that the yarn I was using with them was too much of a contrast. The yarn, if you guys remember, it was an off-white and a gray. And when you have something that's, the yarn, it wasn't busy. I've seen busy yarn, like there's heavily variegated yarn that's really busy, but it was still too busy to do a cable pattern because you kind of lose the cable pattern. It's like wearing a shirt that's textured and also has a very loud pattern on it. You're not going to see the texture because of the pattern. Does that make sense? So I decided to rip them out last night, and I went through my stash and I found this that I've had forever, and it is a beautiful yarn. Sorry, it was just sitting in my cute little yarn bowl because I was knitting on it earlier. Isn't that adorable? I bought this at the Fiber Fest I went to last summer in Chicago. Actually, I'm wearing the shirt too. Oh, you won't be able to see it, but it's a t-shirt that says Chicago. I bought this souvenir. I had never been to Chicago before. What was the name of that festival? It was Stitches Midwest. And this guy was at Rhinebeck too, and him and I had a little chat because I was saying I have one of his bowls and I love using it. So your yarn sits in the bowl, if you're not familiar with a yarn bowl, and see the little cutout there? So what you would do is you'd wrap your yarn and then you can pull it out. When this ball is still like really, really tight, so it doesn't pull as easily, but still it's a nice place for it to sit. You can pull on it and it doesn't go flying anywhere, so I think that's kind of great. So anyway, that's the yarn, and this is my favorite dyer who no longer dyes, and it's Sunrise Fiber Company, and this is her colorway called Pumpkin Spice, of course. So I recast on the mittens, and I'm only at like the same part I showed you guys last week, so I'm still just doing the ribbing, but by next week it will look super pretty. And now that I know how to do the pattern, this is going to fly a lot quicker. But I have to show you guys the stitch marker I'm using. Can you see? Hold on. Hold on. Let me see if I can get it to focus on that. Come on, focus. It's not going to do it. It's Mary Poppins. Isn't it adorable? I found it with the rest of my stitch markers, and I'm like, yes, I must use that. So that's my beginning of the round marker, so I know where the new round starts. So yeah, so really, really enjoying these. I predict I'm going to get quite far in these the rest of tonight. I should get into a pattern repeat, so when I show them to you guys next Saturday, I'm actually hoping to maybe even have a mitten done. That would be kind of exciting. So yeah, so that's all my knitting. So the other thing I want to show you guys is that, excuse me, hiccups, as usual, when I sit down with you guys, I get hiccups. I took my husband to work earlier this afternoon, and I was kind of in the mood to stop at a thrift store. So we have a couple of them. We have National Thrift, which is a big thrift store chain. We also have Value Village, which is, I'm sure you guys are familiar with Value Village. Or in the US, you guys would call them Savers. And we also have the Salvation Army thrift stores, and then there's also a couple used bookstores in the area. Well, one's not really in the area. It's in Oshawa, which is a good 30-minute drive, but that's the one where I get the books, like the stack of books that have the X's on them, and it's like 4 for $1 or 4 for $1.50. I haven't been there in about a month or so. I can only go there every so often because I could spend a lot of money there. And I really don't have the room right now for a lot of physical books, but I still can't help myself. It's the Harlequins that I go for, which is the bonus part about going to a lot of these thrift stores, is that the Harlequins are even cheaper than you would get even like a regular paperback from. So yeah, so I may have gone in and bought a few books, but I spent $9 whole. I got 11 books for $9, so that's not too bad at all. So, excuse me, you're going to hear crinkling. I do apologize. Just hold on one second. Sorry, not sorry for the crinkling. So, I shouldn't try and talk over it. So, I got 10 Harlequins, and then I also got a hardcover book. Now, generally I don't buy a lot of hardcovers. I have some over here. That's actually a trade paperback, the Sarah Morgan. That is a hardcover right there. But that's what I want to fill my shelf with, are hardcovers of some of my favorite books. I mean, I could very easily go out and buy this one on paperback. I actually saw it, or like mass market paperback. I saw this one at Walmart yesterday, actually. But I'm like, I own it on hardcover, and I own the first book on hardcover as well. So once I get the shelf completely cleaned out, that's all you guys are going to see here, are just the hardcovers and trade paperbacks of some of my favorites. So here are the books that I bought for my Harlequin collection, as well as to read. The truth is, when I get these hardcovers, these are what I tend to pick up as well at used bookstores, because I don't want to pay $30 for a hardcover that I'm literally just going to have on display. Because I read the first one in this series on audiobook. I'm probably going to read the second on audiobook as well. This one I've got a copy of as well. I bought it brand new, and I also bought it as an ebook. So just because I want it, because it was so pretty. But anyway, so that's that. On to the Harlequins. So I found some old ones, you guys. I always love it because you can always tell when somebody has brought in a collection that somebody had or something like that. So first one, we have a Silhouette Special Edition by Susan Mallory, and this is Tender Loving Care. It is number 717 in that series, and this is from 1992, January of 92. So yeah, Susan Mallory, I'm like, yes, please. And then speaking of authors that are very well known, a very old Debbie Macomber. This is number 606, so it's an even earlier book than the last one. The Courtship of Carol Summers, or Summers maybe, and this is from 1990. So yeah, so that's pretty awesome too that I found those two. Found a Harlequin Blaze. The other thing is too, I noticed that because I went to the National Thrift Store today, they had a lot of the Love Inspired books, a lot of them. So somebody obviously had a collection of them and brought them in. And again, I love seeing that when I go to thrift stores because it's a lot of fun. This is a Harlequin Blaze by Lori Borrell, I believe, and it's called Unleashed. And it is book 430 in the series, and it is from November of 2008. So yeah, nice car. This one is fun. It is Love Inspired because like I said, there was a bunch of them there. And this is by Kit Wilkinson, and it's called Sabotage. I don't know what number it is because they don't, for the romantic, for the Love Inspired books, they don't list them on the side. But this one is from 2010. So Sabotage. So that one looks really good. Looks like something Western, like those are horse stalls, it looks like. So that one should be really good. I do enjoy these ones quite a bit. A Romantic Suspense by Beverly Long. This is called Bodyguard Reunion, and it's part of the Wingman Security. It's book number 1953, and it's from 2017. This was one of the more recent ones that I saw there. Super Romance, Finding Mr. Right by Helen Brennan. This is a large print edition, it says. It's number 1519 in the series, and it is from 2008 as well. So yeah, that one looks really cute. I grabbed this one. I was kind of like, because it's like buy 4, get 1 free, so I always try to make up 10. And there were a couple here, like this one, they had a bunch of older of the Super Romance. I was looking at them, and I decided on this one because I really love the title. And this is Queen of the Dixie Drive-Thru, and this is by Peg Sutherland. I've read her before. She's quite good. This is number 679, and it's from 1996. So yeah, it's an oldie but a goodie. A Harlequin Heartwarming. These as well are not numbered, but it's by Ingrid Weaver, and it's called Winning Amelia. Beautiful cover. These books are really super thick, like, you know, and this is not, oh, it is a large print. But they still are like thicker books. You get a lot more of a story with these heartwarming ones. And these are wholesome, tender romances, as it says on the cover. So they are very similar to the Love Inspired, with the fact that there's no adult content in them, but they don't have the religious aspect to them. That's the difference between the two. So yeah, these are really fun. And I got an Old Intrigue. I do love the Old Intrigue covers. There's just something so... I just looked at the cover. I'm like, does she have a cat wrapped up in that? No, it's a doll, it looks like. Kind of odd. This is Flashpoint by Leona Carr. It says, when fairy tales are filled with phantoms and Mother Goose runs amok. Sounds good. But see, she's holding like this doll. For some reason, I thought it was like a black and white tuxedo cat. Like, why is the cat dressed up? I just had a nap, guys. I'm still waking up a little bit. So yeah. So I'm really excited to have this one. It looks quite good. Diddle Diddle Dumpling, Poor Young John began began the Mother Goose rhyme that arrived on Gail Richmond's doorstep. Ooh, sounds like it's going to be like something with fairy tales. Ooh, this one should be good. This one is from 1993, so again, an older one, but I do love these old intrigue covers. They make me so happy. And the last one, this was a find. You do not see these very often. They did not produce this line for very long. And this is the Silhouette Shadows. This is what would eventually become, to my understanding, would eventually become the Nocturne. Like, it wouldn't turn into the Nocturne, but years later, after this had ended, they would bring Nocturne out. So this was like the predecessor, if you will. So again, Silhouette Shadows, and it's actually got the embossed on the cover. It's called The Last Cavalier. Can we say the name? Heather Graham. Yay! This was her other writing name before she just went by Heather Graham. Posteri, I think it is. I'm not too sure exactly how to pronounce that. But this is from, I think this might even be a reprint because it's in really good condition. So let's have a look, shall we? Oh my gosh, this is the first one in the series. Silhouette Shadows #1. Copyright 1993. First Silhouette Books printing March of 93. Wow. But it doesn't say it's a reprint. This might just actually be the very first one. Oh, that's exciting, isn't it, guys? That is, and it's in mint condition. I've never seen one in this good condition before. So from 93. Oh, that's exciting. Yay. Oh, now I'm extra thrilled with this. I mean, I was thrilled before, but now I'm extra thrilled. Yeah, book #1, The Last Cavalier by Heather Graham. Who is Deborah by Elise Title was book #2. Stranger in the Mist by Lee Carr, book #3. And Swamp Secrets by Carla Cassidy, book #4. Those are all names we know. Welcome to the Dark Side of Love, it says. But obviously, the guy on the horse is a ghost because you can sort of kind of see through him. Oh, this is going to be so good. I'm so thrilled now. Yay. Okay. So that made me extra happy today. It's the little things, isn't it, guys? So as I said, I did buy a hardcover book to go in my collection. And this is an author I recently just started reading, and I saw this, and it was in perfect condition, and I thought, why not? For $2.99. It doesn't even look like it's been read. Original sticker retail price, $29.99. I got Wild Horse Springs by Jody Thomas. This is part of the Ransom Canyon romance series, which I am reading through. But again, this is a gorgeous one to go on my shelf. It's going to look fantastic. You know, again, these are the ones that I kind of hunt out when I am at these thrift stores and stuff like that. If I can find hardcover, I could very easily go and pick this up as a trade paperback or a mass market paperback for like $1 somewhere, but you know, I'm not going to read it in that format. I'm not going to read it in this format either, but again, this is it being silly of me? I know, I used to rag on a lot of booktubbers going, oh, it's going to look so pretty on my shelf, but I'm not buying stacks of books like this, and I'm also not paying $30 a pop. I'm getting them, you know, like, I wish I had the space to sit and read a proper hardcover, because this to me is a book. You know, like, Kindle editions and audiobooks are also books, but I mean, there's just something so nice about sitting down with a beautiful hardcover book, is there not? They aren't practical, though, for your everyday, for, like, throwing in your purse to take anywhere. Shall we see what the end papers look like? Ooh, it's a pretty green. That's nice. But yeah, so I saw this one, so I immediately picked it up because I thought, why not? Because you don't, that's the other thing too. These books originally, most of them are normally published at first printing as a mass market paperback. So to find one as a hardcover is always exciting. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, so yeah, so I got that today too. So anyway, reading update very quickly before I let you guys go. Like I said, I finished 2 books already today. The first one I finished was Just Like Heaven by Julia Quinn. Book #1 in the Smythe-Smith Quartet. I loved this so much. Again, if you didn't watch my last vlog, I should explain what this book is about. It's about a woman by the name of Honoria. I couldn't remember her name the last time. Isn't that pretty? And Marcus. And this is a spin-off series, if you will, from the Bridgerton series by Julia Quinn. But the events in this book happen like before even Colin gets married. So like midway through the Bridgerton series, this series kind of starts to happen. And our 2 main characters have been friends since they were, okay, let me rephrase that. They've known each other since they were children. he is best friends with her older brother, and there's a 60-year age gap between the two of them. So, you know, they kind of grew up. She was the youngest in the family, and she kind of followed them always around, and it drove, you know, her brother crazy and stuff like this. Then her brother ends up getting exiled, and he asks Marcus to please look after her when she comes out into society. Excuse me. Of course, romance blossoms from there. It's a really, really fun story. Considering it's a Julia Quinn, it was rather tame. You do have an adult scene, but it's almost at the very end of the book, and it's still very, very tame to what she would normally write. Like I said, a spinoff of the Bridgertons, so it was so much fun seeing some of these other characters. Like, you do see Colin. Her and Colin have an entire conversation in the story, and Gregory is in the story as well. Lady Bridgerton, the mother, Violet, is in the story because it's her birthday at one point, so they go to her party. And Lady Danbury. For anyone who has read the Bridgerton series, you know Lady Danbury with her cane. Like, she is this old lady, some sort of great aunt of people. She's related to, like, in every book, she seems to be related to, do you know what I mean? Like, in some way, matriarchal, she's related to, and she's actually Marcus's great aunt. But she talks and she thumps her cane when she talks, and I adore her. She's a secondary character. She makes like these pop-up appearances in different books, and I adore her. I absolutely would love, if anyone has read more Julia Quinn than I, and I've read the entire Bridgerton series. Now I'm working on this one. I've read some of her other books, but if anyone's familiar with, I would love to know. I want Lady Danbury to have her own book. I want, you know, them to tell her story. Do you know what I mean? Like when she was young. I think that would be awesome. She's just such an eclectic character, or eccentric character, not eclectic. I always get the two confused. An eccentric character, and she lights up the page when she's there. Do you know what I mean? Quick-witted with this, you know, great bit of sarcasm and thumping that cane, and you've got to watch out for that cane. And Julia Quinn can write a dialogue scene like nobody's business. Like, you totally, the talking going back and forth, it's almost seamless. It's fantastic. So I absolutely recommend this book. It was so much fun. I listened to it on audio, narrated by Rosalind Landor, and I borrowed it from my library to listen to. So yeah, so I finished that one. The other book that I just finished a few minutes before I sat down to talk to you guys was Murder on Ice by Carolyn Keene, book 3 in the Nancy Drew Files series. That was one of my goals today, was to get that book done because I've been reading it for far too long, and I enjoyed it. But contrary to the title, there is no murder that takes place in the book. FYI, spoiler alert. But Nancy and her friends are at a ski lodge in Vermont, and there is a potential murderer on the loose, and there are accidents that are happening, quote unquote, and Nancy has to find the person who did it. So it actually did keep me guessing through it the whole book, so that was kind of fun too. And it was an enjoyable read, and I'm glad I read it. Anyway, guys, I'm going to let you go. Like I said, I still have one more book I want to finish today, and I want to get a bit more reading done on. So I'm still currently reading Out of Uniform by Catherine Mann. That's the other one I'm trying to finish today. I'm at about 60% of the way through it, so I should very easily get that done tonight. It's not a terribly long book. And I also plan on getting about another 50 or 60 pages read in this, and that is Reunited with the Cowboy by Carolyn Arson. So yeah, so that's exciting. So anyway, guys, I will let you go, and I will talk to you in a bit. Bye, guys. Hi, guys. It is Sunday, November the 4th, and it is about 4:15 in the afternoon. It does feel a lot later than it is because we, of course, had the time change last night. It went from, we fell back, which is how I always remember. We spring forward in the spring, and we fall back in the fall. So we gained an hour, essentially. At 2 o'clock in the morning, the clocks went back to 1 o'clock. So yeah, so that's always fun. But I do tend to be extra tired on these days, but it is nice to have that extra hour. My husband and I were out earlier, and I had forgotten to change the clock in the car, and we were driving back from Walmart. I'm like, oh my gosh, how is it already 3:30 in the afternoon? And then I realized, oh wait, I haven't changed it. It's only 2:30. Bonus. So yeah, so that's pretty exciting. Sorry about not coming back on last night to update you guys, but it was just before midnight that I finished the book I was reading last night, so that's why I didn't get on here to record. I finished reading Out of Uniform by Catherine Mann. It was really, really good, you guys. 4 stars, absolutely. It was a great story about a woman with amnesia, and, you know, she finds, she ends up happening to be in the right place at the right time, essentially, with this guy who works for the Air Force. He's an Air Force mechanic, and he's kind of trying to protect her because there's somebody after her. Something nefarious is obviously going on, and she's starting to regain her memory. But it wasn't until more than halfway through the book that she started to regain her memory. So that was kind of interesting, going through this whole thing with this this woman who has lost her memory and stuff like that. So it was really, really good. Again, 4 stars. I absolutely recommend it. Catherine Mann is a really great author. This was book 14 in the Wingman Warrior series, but you absolutely do not have to have read any of the other books. I'm sure you're introduced to characters that appear in previous books, but because I haven't read them, I didn't know what their stories were or anything like that, so I wasn't losing and or gaining anything. So yeah, really enjoyable. So what am I currently reading? I am currently reading, my current audiobook is It's in His Kiss by Julia. I've read so much Julia Quinn lately, that's why. Jill Shalvis, book number 10 in the Lucky Harbor series. I've only just started this one. I have actually not had a lot of reading time today. I was out my usual at bingo with my mom this morning, and then the husband and I went grocery shopping, and now I'm home and I'm doing my recording now for you guys. I recorded the videos that are going up that you guys will have already seen this week. And yeah, so I've been kind of busy, but that's okay. Actually, I'll talk about that afterward. But anyway, I've just started this one, and it's about a woman who, it sounds like she's traveled across the country and to Lucky Harbor, and it sounds like I think it's in Washington State, and she has rented this kind of warehouse apartment sight unseen, and she keeps running into this very sexy surfer guy named Sam. So the story is going to go from there. I'm thoroughly enjoying it so far. It's a Jill Shalvis. I'm sure I'm absolutely going to love it. My current ebook that I have just started, literally just started, is Exclusive and Touch of Heaven by Samantha Chase. This is a NetGalley book. It's actually an anthology. It's 2 books in one. I literally have read the prologue and about the first 3 pages of the first story, and already I'm not absolutely certain what I'm going to think about this one. Reason being is because the plot line already is extremely similar to Exclusively Yours by Shannon Stacy. And this book is called Exclusive. And it's about a man who is a mystery writer, and he is kind of living... nobody knows who he is. He's essentially in hiding. He does not grant interviews for any awards he wins. He always has somebody else, collect them for him. His picture is not on the dust jackets of his books, things like that. He's a recluse, essentially. And in Exclusively Yours, it's exactly the same thing. Joe Kowalski is a, best-selling New York Times, blah, 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 author of mystery novels. I think more thriller mystery, but still. Who no one knows who he is and no one knows anything about his story. And then he, in the Shannon Stacy story, he agrees to grant an exclusive interview to his ex-girlfriend with a whole thing that kind of happens in the background where she ends up going camping with his family. It's a fantastic book. If you have not read it, you need to read it. But in this one, we don't know why yet, because again, I'm only like 10 pages into it. But he's only agreeing to grant this interview to this one girl by the name of, I think it's Taylor. So, yeah. It's mirroring that book that I love so much quite a bit, and I'm kind of not absolutely, I'll see where it goes. I'm going to give it a chance, but already, like I said, at 10 pages in, I'm already feeling very hesitant about it because of how close it is to the other book. So I'm like really curious as to see which one was published first. I'll have to check that and I'll report back tomorrow and let you guys know. But yeah, so those are my 2 main books. Tonight I plan on starting Dawn on the Coast by Ann M. Martin, which is book number 23 in the Babysitters Club series. This is actually the first Babysitters Club book I ever read. This was the first one that I got. My dad picked up this one, and the next 2, which were Marianne and the Search for Tigger and Christine the Mother's Day Surprise, as like a 3-pack, I guess. He was away golfing in Myrtle Beach when I was a kid, like for, over, I think it was like in November or something like that. And he brought this back as like a present because I loved books. And I had never even heard about this series before. I was maybe 10. And this was the first one I read because it was already, I think, the winter time, or at least the fall. It was cold at home. And I saw this girl on a beach and I thought, oh yes, I must read this one. And yes, this one I have very, very fond memories of because it was the first one I ever did read. So I'm very excited to go back and be doing a reread of it now. And I am still reading. I got up to page last night 160 of Reunited with the Cowboy by Carolyn Arson. I'm enjoying this one quite a bit. She was a model in New York. She was married to a rather jerk of a guy, and she's now back at home. I think it's in Montana. It is in Montana. And she's kind of helping out at the ranch, but her ex-boyfriend that she broke up with before she left to go to New York to become a model, he doesn't really think that she's cut out for ranch life again. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's a fun enough story, and I'm hoping to get that done in the next day or so. But anyway, guys, that is it for this little clip. I know not very long, but oh yeah, so like I was gonna say, I have a longer drive tomorrow because I have to go down to the hospital in the morning. I have a doctor's appointment, so it's nothing major. I'm just going to see my cardiologist, my usual checkup, and I have to be downtown at 8 a.m. So I'm going to have to leave here by like 6:30, 7 o'clock. So that's going to be rather unpleasant. But it's a good hour plus drive for me downtown, so that's a lot of audiobook listening time. And then plus the drive back to work when I'm done. So yeah. So anyway, guys, that is it. I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye, guys. Hi guys, it is Tuesday, November the 6th, and it is about 5 o'clock at night. I am coming to you with a different sort of update. This is not a book update. I will come back later tonight, later in the evening after I've done a bit more reading today to give you guys a book update. This is a life update, because I have a few things I want to tell you guys, because it is going to, you're going to notice some vlog clips at different times of the day and things like that over the next few months. So let me explain. I did not record a clip yesterday, and I apologize for that. I was quite busy during the day doing some things, some running around. So pretty much, I'm going to try and make this as easy as I can to explain. I'll try and keep it brief as well. But I have mentioned here on my vlogs that work over the last few months has become increasingly stressful. Unbelievably stressful, let's put it that way. There is a lot that I didn't share with you guys. I just would say it was stressful and kind of leave it at that. I am very much a glasses half full kind of person. I like to think that I tend to have most things, you know, kind of like roll like water off a duck's back. Is that the phrase I'm thinking of? And not let things bother me and not let things get to me. And at the beginning I was okay doing that, but then it got progressively worse and worse. But I don't want to, I tried not to bring it home with me. That was always a big thing, is that, you know, if I was having a bad time at work, when I got in my car to come home, you know, I left it there because I didn't want to bring that home and have it affect my personal life outside of the office. But that has started to happen. You know, I started, you know, my husband noticed I was, you know, a little more snippy, a little more frustrated, you know, not my usual self. I mean, not that I'm one of those people like la 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 all the time, you know, sunshine and rainbows and unicorns kind of person. You know, life can kick you down occasionally, but most of the time I'm usually in a pretty good mood. Life is too short to spend it upset, you know, like about things that you really can't control. Let me put it that way. I'm not talking about any kind of, you know, mental issues or anything like that. If you suffer from depression, that's not at all what I'm talking about. I'm talking just in general, you know, stuff like that. So, and at work too. Even at work, I always tried to be as cheerful as possible. And not that I was putting on an act, because it's not an act for me. That is me. That's who I am. You can ask anyone who knows me. I am a very cheerful and outgoing person once you get to know me. I can be shy at first if I'm meeting somebody face to face. But anyway, I know, hard to believe, right? But anyway, I hadn't planned, I had pretty much planned on this is how it is right now, and this is how it's going to be for some time. Like, this system and these issues we're dealing with, which I don't want to get into the specifics of what it is, are going to be with us for a while. This is not going to change overnight. This could be months and months before anything gets resolved. And we're dealing with very angry customers. We're dealing with a lot of internal people as well who are frustrated and stressed out and all kinds of things, and it's not a pleasant situation. So yesterday morning I had an appointment with my cardiologist. It was just a standard checkup. I go every 6 months. I used to go once a year, but now it's every 6 months. You know, the older that you get, the more they want to see you, just to make sure that, you know, nothing suddenly crops up. And we got talking, and she was asking how I was feeling and if I was having any sort of cardiac type symptoms or had any since the last time she saw me. And the answer, of course, to that is yes, because along with this stress has come more frequent palpitations. I deal with atrial flutter to begin with, an arrhythmia disorder. But it comes and that would come and go. I'd be sitting there and my heart would speed up for about 15, 20 seconds and then it would go away. And that's standard. That's normal for me. That's my version of normal. But these were coming and lasting or not just the rapid heartbeat, but it would speed up and then slow down and then kind of do like these really weird beats and stuff like that. So it was very out of rhythm, very out of rhythm. Along with that, of course, if it was sustained, would come chest pain and pressure. Along with issues taking a deep breath. Not that I was like gasping for air or anything like that, but I would it would feel like I couldn't take that really deep breath. Do you know what I mean? I haven't been sleeping very well. I haven't been, in all honesty, I haven't been eating that great. I come home from work at the end of the day and I just didn't care. Would be like, yeah, I guess I gotta eat something, so I'll have a bowl of cereal, kind of an idea. I didn't want to make anything. Even the nights that my husband would cook dinner, the nights that he was home, I had very little appetite. And when I did want to eat, I would end up sitting down and eating an entire bag of potato chips, which is why when I got on the scale yesterday, I have gained some weight, which is not good. It's not a lot, but I am heavier than I was before, and they want me to be careful because my family is overweight. My mother's a diabetic, and I carry all of my weight around my middle. So I've mentioned it before on something else, and somebody commented, "Oh, you're not heavy," and no, I know in the grand scheme of things I'm not, but you guys don't see the full all my weight is around my stomach. I have the spare tire essentially, and I'm not saying that I don't think I'm that heavy, but it's especially when you carry your weight around your stomach, it can be dangerous for your heart, especially because I've already got a heart issue. I got to be careful. So anyway, all that being said, telling this all to my doctor yesterday, and then I promptly I burst into tears. I sat in her office and cried, which I have done several times at my desk at work or in my car. She kind of was taken aback because she knows me, she knows my personality. She knows the way I think and the way I act and the more of a positive attitude that I always try and have. And I think she got concerned, especially with the fact that the palpitations are increasing in severity and in duration, and the fact that it's being accompanied, of course, by, these, sorry, my hair's driving me crazy, by these, chest pains or pressure and the breathing thing and the sleeping thing and the this thing. So, all that being said, to tell you guys that I am now off on stress leave for the next 8 weeks, roughly 8 weeks. We're going to play it by ear. That is what is on my forms. I have been dealing with this all, yesterday afternoon, all into today, dealing with getting this information. I've had to see my family physician because she's the one who's going to kind of follow me through everything, because she's just easier to see than to get in to see the cardiologist. My cardiologist is amazing. I could call her or email her and she'd be able to help me with something. But for the day-to-day stuff, it's just easier for me to get in to see my family physician. And they work very closely with each other, information back and forth, so that's cool. So anyway, like I said, I'm on stress leave for the next 8 weeks, which in itself is stressful because I will not be getting a full paycheck. Of course, I'm a reduced pay, which I fully understand, and I knew that going in. My health is far more important than anything else. But, we're going to have to, we can't, essentially what we're going to probably be losing is the extra spending money that we have, which my husband understands, he knows, and he's okay with it. We can still pay the rent, we can still pay the car, we can still buy groceries. Life is good. As far as we can do all that, everything is good. But I have to go through this waiting period, through the insurance company, and all these things, so that's going to be a little bit stressful for the next few weeks while that kind of all plays out. I got the forms today at work, and I filled them all out myself, and then I was over at my doctor's office just now. She was filling out, they cost me, oh my gosh, guys, it cost me $50 for the doctor to fill out the forms. Really? So, it'd be nice if the insurance company would reimburse that, but I highly doubt it. So, tomorrow I have to go back to work. I'm not currently working. I left this afternoon around 1 o'clock, and I am now, like I said, done until January 2nd would be my start back date. It's 8 weeks from today. Roughly. 8 weeks 8 weeks, yes, it would be 8 weeks yesterday, and that was actually the 31st of December, so that's silly. So we went with the 2nd of January. And I will be reassessed. I'm going in to see my doctor again in 4 weeks to see how I'm doing. I have a Holter monitor. I have to get that put on tomorrow. Fun times. I have to get that put on tomorrow for 48 hours. If you don't know what that is, it's like for an ECG, you get little stickers on your chest with the wires. So they put that on, and then you get like this little like thing and that you carry in your pocket. I don't know. I remember having these as kids, and they'd be like this big and heavy as heck, and they like go over your shoulder. And then they upgraded to like something that I'm going to show my age now. Something that looked like a Sony Walkman. And now I think they're like tiny, like almost like an iPod that you could fit it into your pocket. But still, you've got all the wires and stuff, and it's not comfortable. You can't shower for as long as it's on because it's, electrodes. So yeah, that's got to go on tomorrow because they want to see, what my heart is doing. Because even though there are times I can feel the palpitations, they could happen and I don't feel them. So they kind of want a clear record of what's going on. I had a massive blood work done yesterday too, so we're waiting on the results back from that. And because of some of the more anxiety thought process that's going on now with me, my family physician wants me to book an appointment with a counselor. So I'm gonna see a counselor during this time as well to try and work through some other things that are kind of going on. And so it's a lot, guys. This is not going to be hey, I'm going to get paid to sit at home and read. No, I've got appointments. I've got all kinds of things that are going on. Yeah, there is going to be some downtime, and I'm not going to have to be at work, which is great. But, we'll see where we go from there. But anyway, like I said, I just thought I'd let you guys know what's going on. And yeah, so thank you for sitting and listening to me and letting me kind of vent out a little bit, or talk about it. These vlogs, I want them to be, real life and what's really going on with me and stuff like that. So that's why I wanted to tell you guys kind of what was going on. But I've got some lifestyle changes that I need to make too. I'm taking this as an opportunity to do some changes, some positive changes. I actually have decided, I used to belong to Weight Watchers years and years and years ago. And they always send you emails like to come back and join. So they sent one, actually, it was about a week and a half ago, and I rejoined. And it's a very reasonable price per month, so something I can still afford. And I haven't actually officially started yet, but I actually plan to start that. I figure I'm going to let myself have the rest of this week. I want to get the Holter monitor thing dealt with, stuff like that. And then going into next week, when things calm down a little bit with everything, I can start focusing on it. But that's my plan. So if you guys are okay with it, I'm thinking about when I record a clip on Mondays, because Monday will be my start date, to kind of let you guys know how I'm doing. I will fully tell you how much I weigh. It does not bother me in the least. I'm doing that. I'm making a couple other lifestyle changes. I need to start exercising again. I obviously can't afford to join a gym right now, but, you really don't need to. I have a rather, a big space in my living room. I can walk in my living room. I can do stuff like that. It's fine. You don't need to have all this fancy equipment. I can go outside. As long as the weather stays nice, I can go take a couple walks around the block in the afternoon or something like that. I have my Fitbit. I generally I get about 5,000 steps a day at work. I'd like to try and maintain that or exceed that. And I don't actually physically go see my cardiologist again until May. It's my next checkup. But if something comes up before then, of course, she's going to want to see me. But I really would like to, when I go and see her in 6 months, to be like, hey, look, I lost some weight. I'm exercising. Not just for her, but for me too. Yeah. Anyway, now I'm rambling, so I'll let you guys go. And like I said, I will come back with another clip tonight to let you know about my reading. So I'll talk to you then. Bye, guys. Hi, guys. It's Tuesday night, later from my last clip that I just filmed. And as promised, I am coming to you with a reading update. I wanted to get this done before I went and picked up my husband in about a half an hour, because I have a feeling as soon as I get home, I'm going to bed. I had planned this afternoon because I left work early, knowing I had to go to the doctor's office to get her to fill out some forms. I didn't think it would take that long, but they couldn't just take me. I had to book an appointment, even though the girl on the phone told me just to show up, which that really drives me crazy. But anyway, my plan had been to go get that done and then come home and nap for an hour so this afternoon, but that didn't happen. So yeah, so I'm tired. The bonus is I get to sleep in tomorrow and I don't have to get up to go to work. I honestly, I was saying to my parents, It's going to be kind of nice for the first like week or so, even though I have appointments. Like tomorrow I have to go get I have an appointment tomorrow. I have an appointment. I have to go back on Wednesday or on Friday, and next Wednesday I have another appointment. So like, I've got stuff that's going on, and I have to go to the office tomorrow too to drop off all those forms that I had filled out today. But anyway, it's not just going to be, like I said, just sitting around doing nothing. And I said, I'm just the type of personality that I need something to do. I've got stuff to do. I can be reading or I can be knitting. But when I say something to do, I mean like a purpose in my day. Does that make sense? Like a reason to I don't know. It's hard to explain, and I apologize. But anyway, so yeah, so I have a feeling after the second or third week or so, I'm just going to be kind of like, what do I do next? I was joking with my husband. I said, maybe I'll finally write that novel I've been looking to write. Make myself get up in the morning, shower, get dressed, and sit down just like I was going to the office and just sit down and do some writing. So that might be a good idea. As I said, I am participating in NaNoWriMo, sort of, kind of, not really, as I like saying. And I've been keeping up with the blog posts, which is a good thing. I do want to. I still have to post the one for today, I think, but I'm not doing too badly. That my goal was a blog post a day, like around 500 words, and that's what I'm maintaining. So that's pretty good. But yeah. So anyway, so that's that. On to the book related stuff. First of all, the audiobook I'm currently listening to is It's in His Kiss by I almost said by Julia Quinn because that's one of the ones in the Bridgerton series, but no, by Jill Shalvis. This is the 10th book in the Lucky Harbor series. I have not read the previous 9, but I do plan next year for my Stacking the Series challenge. I plan on doing this year, I had 10 for the Stacking the Series challenge. It's really fun. You pick, you have to have a minimum of 5 as per the rules on the Romance Readers Reading Group. You need to have minimum of 5 series, but you can have as many as you want. And it's almost like a pyramid. So you start, your first series is the most, and this year I had 10. So you pick 10 books from one series that you want to read that year, and then 9 books from a different series, 8 books from a different series, and so on and so forth, down to 1. So I'm thinking now that I'm starting at book 10, I might go back to book 1 and add it to my Stacking the Series challenge for next year to get the first 9 read, because I think that would be a lot of fun. I'm pretty sure all of them are available on audio from my library, which is super fantastic. I'm listening to this one from my library. So this is the story of Becca and Sam. And Becca has just arrived in Lucky Harbor. It's in Washington State, and it's the summertime. And she writes jingles for a living. And every time I hear of somebody having that as like their career, I can't help but always think of Charlie Sheen from 3.5 Men, because that's what he did. But yeah, she's had a tough go of it. She's got a lot of secrets that she's harboring. She's got family issues she's dealing with. Sam is the same. He's got issues with his father, his estranged father, sort of. So the two of them kind of, they obviously start a relationship. This book is very hot and spicy. It's Jill Shalvis, but it's still a really fun contemporary read, and I'm really enjoying it. I've maybe got less than an hour left on it on the audio. I don't think I'm going to get it done tonight. I was kind of hoping I was, but, I got busy doing some other things and what have you, and I didn't get a chance to listen to it. It was funny because I'm sitting here and I'm listening to it, and I've got, like, in my headphones, right? And I realize I'm the only one home. Why am I listening to this on headphones? So I unplugged it, and I just listened to it, like, on speaker. So that was pretty cool. So that will have to be my go-to, when I'm home by myself, because I never thought about doing that before. The days that my husband's home and he's sleeping in the mornings when I'm listening to an audiobook, I always put in the headphones because I don't want to disturb him. It's the same. I don't turn on the TV if he's in bed, just because I don't want to bother him. So yeah. So anyway, excuse me, I got the hiccups again. The book I'm currently reading is exclusive / something heaven. I can't remember the name of it right now. Excuse me. A Touch of Heaven? Sorry, I think it's called A Touch of Heaven. Bear with. I can tell you in just a second. A Touch of Heaven by Samantha Chase. This is it's an anthology, obviously. It's two of her books that are being republished as one volume, and I got it from NetGalley, so this is a NetGalley read. I finished the first book today, while I was waiting at the doctor's office. And didn't love it, guys. 2.5 stars. I'll be honest, absolutely honest, 2.5 stars. I just, for one thing that bothered me the most, this book actually, because I remembered I said I was going to tell you guys, this book came out after Exclusive Viewers by Shannon Stacy. And the premise just seemed sort of similar in a way. It wasn't completely similar, like once I got through more of the book, so don't think that, there's anything of that going on. But the whole premise of the story, it's about a woman by the name of Taylor, and she has been asked out of the blue to interview like the most famous author, mystery author who's out right now, but he's a recluse and no one knows who he actually is and all these things and blah blah blah. And I'm sorry, like you know that from the beginning, like it tells you that on the back of the book. So if you don't know the twist, it's pretty self-evident what the twist is going to be. She claims she has no idea who this guy is, and then it turns out that his assistant, she didn't go to high school with. The relationship is very weird. He was best friends with her boyfriend over the course of a single summer when they were, I want to say 21. They weren't teenagers. I want to say that they were in their early 20s. Maybe they were teenagers. If they were, it was like 17 or 18 or something. I really can't remember. I'm sorry. And pretty much this guy, Mike, ran defense for his best buddy. Well, his best buddy spent the entire summer cheating on Taylor. So, not exactly upstanding citizen. So she hasn't seen him in probably 10 years. She hung out with him for the course of a single summer. So keep this in mind. He hunted her down and got her hired for this job. And in the rules of the job that she's doing to go and interview this big famous author, the big famous author isn't even going to be there for the first week. So clue number one on where the twist comes into this story. And the other thing was, I couldn't get over the creep factor. It just, I don't, in case, I don't want to mock if you don't understand, like, what I'm trying to say, like, if you can't figure it out. Okay, maybe not everybody would figure it out, but I've read enough romance novels to have figured it out. I don't want to give anything away, because in case you do want to read it and be surprised, but the fact that this guy, again, I'll reiterate, she spent one summer with him, and she wasn't even dating him, she was dating her boyfriend. He was just kind of there to hang out and stuff like that. He becomes obsessed with her to the point where he's writing about her. That's all I'm going to say. And, about this lost love. And then he has her come up to his boss's, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, his boss's house for 2 weeks by herself. States in the contract she cannot bring anybody with her. And she has to be there and interview this guy. Creepy? Stalker. Big time. I could not get past that. I'm sorry. And I was looking at the reviews on this on Goodreads, and I'm like, maybe it's me. Because everybody else is giving this book 4 and 5 stars. They're giving the entire book, like, both stories together. So, once I'm done the second story, I haven't even started it yet. Once I'm done the second story, I will see what my rating is on that and try and do, like, a divide by 2 kind of idea to give the book overall a rating. But when I rate it on NetGalley and when I rate it on my blog, I'm definitely going to rate each story separately, because I think that they stand up separately. They're not meant to, overall, I really thought this was a fun anthology. But just to let you guys know, this story kind of wasn't that great. But this one, you know what I mean? I couldn't get over it. I really had an issue with that big time, and it was like a second thought, like, oh, you mean he wants me to go there by myself? Well, what if he's a serial killer? Well, that would have been my first question. It's just, nobody knows who this guy, I don't know, sorry. I don't want to rant on about it, but it just really, really bothered me. I'm sorry. It was creepy. It was very creepy, and I just found that I couldn't enjoy the rest of the story because of that. If they'd kept in touch, if they had, friended each other on Facebook, if, they saw each other, they ran into each other even a few weeks earlier at a coffee shop in New York and got chatting, and it wouldn't bother me so much, but it's probably been a decade. A decade! The course of a summer. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm going to stop now. So yes, not enjoying that. I didn't enjoy the first story. I'm really hoping the second one's going to be better. Luckily, neither story is very long. The entire book is about 400 and a little over 400 pages. So each story isn't that long on its own. My current childhood book is Dawn on the Coast by Anna Martin, book 23, I think, in the Babysitters Club series. So the premise of this story is that it's spring break, and Dawn is going back to California to spend spring break with her dad and her brother. And while she's there, she starts missing California, and the whole premise is she going to stay in California or come back to Stony Brook? So I really do adore this story. I think it's absolutely adorable. I think it really, really is. I think it's super sweet. I am having an issue with it, though, because I read all of my Kindle books on my Kindle, or all my ebooks on my Kindle. And I just have the cheapest one. It's not backlit. It's just the little, all you can do on this is read. And I love that, because I was having major issues when I was reading on my, where is it? It's over here. I used to read on my tablet. This is my Samsung Galaxy tab, right? Which I absolutely love. I've had it for years. I think it's a fantastic device. It's heavy. Compared to the Kindle, it's heavy. So sitting and holding it and reading it, I found that it was just a little, it's like trying to read a hardcover as opposed to like a paperback. Do you know what I mean? But it's great to read on because you get the covers in color. Not that that matters. You're not staring at the cover the whole time, but it's backlit and it's great. And sorry, you're seeing the camera in the screen. Do you like my plaid pajama pants? So anyway, it's really great to read on. The problem with the Babysitters Club books, those of you who have read them, if you're unaware of this, if you're uninitiated, if you will, at the beginning of certain chapters, they do handwriting. And what the fun thing was me growing up was that when I used to read these, especially the super specials, that every chapter you would get, whoever was narrating that chapter would write like a little blurb at the beginning in their own handwriting. Every single character who did handwriting in a Babysitters Club book had their own individual handwriting. And I remember, we're going throwback here, you guys, if any of you are my age, there was at one time a Babysitters Club. It wasn't a game. It was like a stationary thing for your computer. You could print off like flyers and make banners. And then you went to Claudia's room and it was the clubhouse. Does anybody else remember this? But they had the fonts for the Babysitters Club. And at one time I had them tracked down and I had them on my computer. I know, I'm such a geek. But I just thought that that was the coolest thing, that they all each had their individual handwriting. It just made it seem so much more real instead of it being in italics or whatever. But anyway, so when they reissued the Kindle editions, they did that as well. I don't know if I can show you this. Let me see if I can. When they issued the Kindle editions, they brought that out so that you could, it was still at the top of every chapter that you would get this handwriting for that chapter for whoever was doing it. So anyway, long story short, on this device, I can't make that any bigger. It won't let me bring it up and make it bigger, so I can't read it. I can't, not that it's integral to the story. I mean, it's not telling me, any major plot point, but it's still, it's kind of fun to have that aspect. You know what I mean? Hold on, bear with. I'm going to see if I can get to a chapter here so I can show you guys. Oh, here we go. Oh, it's still downloading the pictures. Oh, you silly thing. And I can't show you on my phone because I'm using my phone. Anyway, those of you who have read them know exactly what I'm talking about. So, yeah, it's a little annoying that I can't read it on here. But, I can on here because I can make it bigger. And it still won't let me. No, it's not going to bring it up because it's going to be a pain in the patukas. So anyway, guys, that is, sorry, total little rant there. I apologize. This one is just full of rants. Did you guys miss my clip yesterday? I really didn't have much to update on you guys yet, or for you guys yesterday. Oh my gosh, yes I did. I totally did, and I totally forgot to do it. Oh, here we go. Sorry, it just came up so I can show you. So, hold on. Do you see at the top the handwriting? That's what I mean. Sorry for the bad lighting. But like here on this tablet, I can make it bigger and just read that on its own, right? That's Dawn's handwriting. I just thought, 12-year-old me thought it was the coolest thing ever, and I'm still kind of enamored by it because I still think it's really, really fun. Um, excuse me. I'm tempted to do it if I ever do my own, if I ever write my own novel and I have the characters leave notes for each other, to have each one have their own handwriting. That'd be fun. Anyway, I did have something to update from you guys from yesterday, book-wise. I finished a book. I finished, oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of it now. Redeemed by the Rancher, I think it was, by Carolyn Arson. A book in the Love Inspired series, and it was from the Refugee Ranch series. I believe it's book number 2. I finished it yesterday, guys. It was really adorable. I gave it 3.5 stars. It's about a woman who lived in this small, tiny town. I think it was in Texas. I'm sorry, but the cowboy stories really do start to meld in together where they all take place. Texas, Wyoming, Colorado, something like that. In that general area of America. And anyway, she lived in this small town. She dated this guy, and then she decided she wanted to experience the world and life and things like that. So she moved to New York City, and she became a model. And she had some issues with her boyfriend at the time, and then eventually her husband. She ended up divorcing him, and she came back to town. And she's kind of being teased throughout the whole book by this ex-boyfriend that she's like the princess, and she's the model, and she can't get dirty, and her designer jeans and her designer boots, and it's just their relationship. And guys, it was super adorable. Really, really adorable. He got married after she left town and ended up having a little girl, and then his wife passed away. I believe it was in childbirth. So she's kind of helping him with this little girl as well. And the other kind of plot point going on in this book is that he's trying to buy her family's ranch. So that's kind of a thing that's happening too. Really cute story. Very standard contemporary romance, but it was a lot of fun, and I really, really enjoyed it. I mean, 3.5 stars, perfectly good rating from me. So that brings me into, excuse me for reaching here, you guys, into my last book that I want to talk to you guys about. I haven't even started this yet because I've just been kind of a little bit all over the map today. But my next print book is Bo, Cowboy Protector by Marin Thomas. This is Hearts of the Rodeo. I believe it's book number 5. Does he not kind of look like Matthew McConaughey? Every time I kind of glance at this cover real quick, that's what I think. I'm not a huge fan of his personally, but that's just who he reminds me of. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to get some reading done on this tomorrow. That's my game plan amongst all the other running around I have to do. But yeah, so anyway, that is it, you guys. I'll let you go, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye, guys. Hi, guys. It is Wednesday, November the 7th, and it is just after 9 o'clock at night, and I thought I'd pop on and give you guys a reading update. Today was an eventful day. I was busy. I had to go this morning and get the Holter monitor put on, so I am wired. What side is it on? Wired for sound. And they're all down the rest of my chest as well. And then it connects to a little device about this big that I have to carry around in a little pouch. So I have to wear this for the next 48 hours. So I apologize for the way it looks. I don't think I ever recall having one in this exact spot right here. Usually they're a little bit lower or over here. But, you know, I'm not the technician. But yeah, so I had to have that put on. And like I said, for 48 hours. This is not my first rodeo wearing one of these. I've done it before. I've been doing it for as long as I can remember. I can remember getting them when I was a kid, and it would be this huge honkin' like big device that you had to carry, and you actually had to like wear it over your shoulder like a purse, like and then it went to something about the size of a Sony Walkman, just to show my age. And now the one that it's about that big. It's a little bigger and thicker than an iPod. It could slip into my pocket, but it comes with a little pouch thing, so I've just kind of got that around my waist. So yeah, it's not uncomfortable. It doesn't hurt or anything like that. It's just measuring my heart rhythm over a 48-hour period. This is the first time in probably about 10 years that I've had to wear one for 48 hours. Usually it's only 24. And they wanted to do this on Monday. They wanted to try and see if they had one available to put on me at the hospital on Monday. And I'm super glad that they didn't. Like, they're just like, do you mind? I'm like, no, not at all. And I thought, oh, geez. Because I shower every day, but I try to only wash my hair every other day. And I hadn't washed my hair on Monday morning, because I had to get up and leave so early to get to the hospital. And I thought, shoot, that's getting me like 3 or 4 days before I can wash my hair, because you can't shower with this on. I mean, I'm sure I could stick my head over the sink and, you know, try and get somebody to help me to do it if I really needed to, but it's really, really a big pain in the butt. So when there wasn't one available, they gave me the requisition, and luckily I have a lab where I typically get my blood work done. They do it there, but you have to call ahead and book. So I called yesterday, and they were able to. They had one available for me today, so that's good. So then I have to have it back by 11:30 on Wednesday, which means it's not a true 48 hours, but it's close enough. So I figure about 9 or 10 o'clock on Friday morning, I'm popping it off and I'm jumping in the shower. The thing is, right now it's okay, but I guarantee you by tomorrow night, I'm gonna be itchy. That's how and then I'm gonna end up with like not welts. I don't want to use the word welts, but I'm gonna have like the red marks all over for like at least a few weeks. My skin takes forever to come back from these stickers, the sticker things that sit there. I can remember being in hospital and having these things on, and you know, I had like them on for like a week because you're in hospital, so they kind of keep you on the monitor the whole time. And like it was a good month before that red circle dot went down. And oh, sorry, I'm fading in and out. I have to tell the camera where to focus. And it's a pain, but it's part of what I need to do. It's just what it is. It's my version of normal. Let's put it that way. And that's what I always tell people. You know, to other people, this might be like, oh my gosh, I've never had this before. But to me, it's totally normal. It's a very easy test to get done. You're also given a piece of paper. And if I have heart palpitations or anything at all like that, I need to mark down what time it was, like the date and time, and what I was doing at the time. Like, was I sitting? Was I walking? Was I, like, getting an angry phone call? Was it, you know, so it won't be any of that because, you know, not at work right now. So, yeah, that's pretty much about it that I did today. And then I took my husband to work, and then I actually went to work for about 20 minutes. I had to drop off all the forms that my doctor had to fill out for the insurance and stuff like that through work and whatever. So I had to do that. So now it's like a 2-week wait period to find out if they are going to approve or deny my claim, like my insurance claim to be off work on this, like, they call it short-term disability. So yeah, tomorrow my game plan is I need to start calling around counselors to see if I can get somebody to speak to, which is something else I need to really do. So I need to have that done. And yeah, my only concern now is this approval or denial of my claim. If I get denied, it means I'm not getting paid at all, anything, for the time that I'm going to be off, which is, it's scary because then you kind of get into the fact of, okay, do I want to go, do I have to go back to work then? You know, we can't live off of no pay. You know, throw myself essentially back in that situation again when I'm not ready yet, when I'm not prepared yet. You know, like that's the whole thing is that, you know, with the cardiac stuff, they want to make sure it's nothing that's actually heart related and that it is just an anxiety stress issue. And if that's the case, I mean, that's good because it's not cardiac, but it's bad because I haven't had the counseling and stuff like that to learn how to deal with. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm making sense. You know, whether it's a cardiac issue or a mental health issue, essentially. And, you know, I don't know if they'd even let me go back because it's on the form stating that my doctor's saying that I won't be back until the first week of January. So, yeah, so I'm a little worried about it, but I'm trying not to concern myself. That's the last thing I need to be doing is worrying about anything. Because it's not going to help my situation. You know, I even if I get told no, I do have backup. Like I do have the stuff from my cardiologist, which is, you know, a lot more detailed, a lot more information. So if need be, I'll give them that. But right now we're just going to go with what my family physician gave me. So anyway, sorry. Gordon right now is staring. He's laying at my feet. He's staring at the camera. I don't think he knows what I'm doing. What are you doing, sir? He's trying to get up to see and maybe sniff what I'm doing. I don't know. Anyway, quick book update. I got surprisingly a lot of reading done today. He's going to try and get up here and see. Hold on. I don't know if I can get him in the camera. Hello! Hi! Are you on the camera? Look over here. Look there. Say hi to the people. That's your profile. It's very nice. All right. Sorry, guys. He's totally enthralled with the cell phone. I don't know why. Okay. So reading update. I did get quite a bit of reading done today, audiobook-wise. Sorry, I'm just trying to rest my arm on my knee here. But I did not get a lot of ebook reading done today. Because, like I said, I mean, I had to go to 11 for this to get this thing hooked up at 11:30, and then I came home for about an hour, and then I took my husband to work, and then I went to work, and then I came home, and I actually napped for 2.5 hours this afternoon, guys. I'm obviously trying to catch up on sleep, which is something that is much needed. Oh, see, this thing's already starting to itch. Sorry. Tomorrow there will be more complaining. I'll try not to, I promise. But yeah, so a lot of audiobook reading done. I finished an audiobook, and I started and finished another audiobook. Granted, the second audiobook wasn't very long, but still. So I finished reading It's in His Kiss by Jill Shalvis, book number 10, I think, sorry, I'm just going to switch hands here, you guys. Sorry, bear with. Sorry, okay. In the Lucky Harbor series. I love this. I thought it was a great summer romance. Even though it's not summer when I was reading it, it was still an adorable summer romance between Becca and Sam. I talked about this book yesterday. You know, she's kind of leaving for family. Like, she's come to Lucky Harbor to get like a new start. And, you know, he has a hard family background. Like, he came from a difficult background. He was in and out of foster care for a bit and stuff like that, so he doesn't know exactly how to express his emotions. It was a really great story. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. I loved all the characters. There's a old lady who like runs the town. She has the town's Pinterest board, and most of the pictures up on the Pinterest boards are of Sam and his coworkers, like, because they're all like you know, former military and this and that, so you know they're very good looking, and you know, of them out surfing or doing this, that, or the other thing. So yeah, it was a charming book, a great small town romance, and I'm so looking forward to getting into the rest of the series next year. The other book that I started and finished was actually part of the Pass the Parcel challenge on the Romance Readers Reading Group on Goodreads that I'm participating in. This week's challenge was to read a book set in England, and I thought, oh great, I've got something on my TBR. I had nothing on my TBR. My TBR has no historical romances on it this month. I'm absolutely surprised. I usually have at least 1 or 2, and I didn't have any. So I went on to the Audible Romance Package webpage, like on Audible, and I scrolled through. I went to Regency because Guaranteed Regency is going to be set in England, and I scrolled through, and pretty much what I was looking for was something with a shorter length, because I'm essentially adding a book to my already extremely huge TBR, and I did not want to completely overwhelm myself. So I was scrolling through, and I saw this adorable cover, and I'm like, okay, that looks cute, and it came in at just over 5 hours. So for me, listening to it is 2.5 hours long. And it is called Lady Fortescue Steps Out, and it's by Marion Chesney, or MC Beaton. They're both names are listed on Goodreads. I think this one was written out of the name Marion Chesney, though. And this was an absolutely adorable historical fiction novel. I don't want to call it a romance, because there was a romance in it, that wasn't the basis of the story. This was a very short book. It only comes in at about 152 pages for the Kindle if you're going to read it. Charming is the only word I can really use for this. I am so thrilled I read it. I was a little apprehensive. I'm like, oh, am I going to like this? I'm like, oh, it's only a 5-hour long audiobook. I'm not really investing a lot. It's not costing me anything per se, because it's part of the romance package. But it's about this older woman who's 70 years old, and her name is Lady Fortescue. And she is one of the genteel poor, as they are calling it. So part of that higher class, higher station in London society, but yet they're poor. But they're still trying to keep up appearances of the fact that they are still well-to-do, when the fact is that they can barely afford to put food on the table, and that her home, while she owns the home and could sell it, but it's the only memory she has left of her deceased husband, she sold off all the furniture. She has 2 servants who work with her, but they pretty much just stayed. She can't pay them. They just stayed because they have nowhere else to go. And so the whole premise of the book is this woman meets this former general named General, I think it's Sandhurst. And the two of them kind of devise this plan. They're going to talk to other people who are in their same situations and, kind of all band together, pool their money together, and live at her home. And then one of these people decides, wouldn't it be a great idea if we ran a hotel? Because we have this big, beautiful home. What a way to make some money, because, their small allowances or pittance or, what have you, are not going to sustain them for any long period of time. So they kind of opened this hotel, and it was charming. It very, very much reminded me of when I was growing up. We used to spend time at the cottage with my grandparents' cottage. And my grandfather loved watching those BBC comedies, those old ones, like Fawlty Towers and Keeping Up Appearances, and Are You Being Served was my absolute favorite one, for anyone else who remembers those. But that was kind of what it reminded me of. That very sweet, very charming, a little funny, the characters were great. It was a very quick story, very quick paced. I mean, again, it comes in at 152 pages for the Kindle. It was charming. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I gave it 4 stars. And the rest of the books, there's 6 books in the series in total. And while this story had a definite ending to it, there was a conclusion. And as I said, I don't want to call it a romance, even though there is a romance in it. One of the younger people in this group ends up kind of having a romance with a duke. But it's very tame. There is no adult content in it. It's very, very sweet. And yeah, I'm looking forward to reading the rest of them. They are all available as part of the Audible romance package. And guys, they're narrated by Davina Porter. That was icing on the cake. She narrates the Outlander series, and she is hands down my favorite narrator. She does accents. She can do accents so, so well. And I absolutely recommend that you check this series out. I think it's going to have to, the rest of the books are going to have to go on my Stacking the Series challenge for next year, because I loved it. And it was such a quick and easy read. It was great. I absolutely recommend it. So anyway, that was thoroughly enjoyable. The rest of the reading today, I got some more chapters read in Dawn on the Coast by Ann M. Martin in the Babysitters Club series. I am about probably 60 or 70% of the way through that one now. I should actually get that done in the next few days, so that's great. And my goal for tomorrow is to read and finish Exclusive and Touch of Heaven by Samantha Chase. Sorry. Like I said, I gave kind of my review on the first book in this anthology yesterday. The second book I have started, The Touch of Heaven, and it sounds really cute. It's about a mother and daughter who, the mother sounds a little flighty, I want to say, and kind of like does her own thing. Even though they discuss things, she still makes her own decisions. They run a spa together, and the mother owns a home that's a little too big for her. Her husband passed 10 years earlier, and she wants to sell it. And she was at the home improvement store to pick up paint, and she was approached by these people who work for some sort of a reality TV show that does like house restoration, like house makeovers, if you will. I always think about Extreme Makeover Home Edition. I used to love watching that. Even though the stuff was just way out there and stuff that normal people would never put in a home. But regardless, she gets approached by that kind of a thing, that kind of a reality show. And so that's where I am now, is that these two guys, it's a father and son who run this reality show, have shown up at the mother's house, and the daughter's going to show up, and they're going to discuss doing this for the show, and that's the premise of the story. So it sounds really cute. So far, I think the premise is a lot of fun, and I think it's going to be enjoyable. It looks like a relatively easy read. I think it comes in at around 200 pages, so I have nothing on the docket for tomorrow other than kind of doing that searching for a counselor and stuff, so I'm going to have to make some phone calls. But in between that, I am hoping to get that book finished. So that's my goal. Anyway, guys, bit of a longer clip today, so I do apologize. And yeah, I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye, guys. I always need to get a picture of the Goran in the vlog because you guys love to see him. He's slobbed out. This is a stool for my feet that I currently can't really rest my feet on because he's taking it over. Do you like my socks? Aren't they cute? Hand knit, of course. Talk to you later, guys. Bye. Hi, guys. It is November the 8th, I believe, and it's about 8:30 at night. Just coming to you with a quick update. I thought I would sit down and chat with you because I am desperately trying to distract myself right now. I've got BookTube on in the background. I'm trying to do some knitting, but my mind just keeps going to the fact that I am itching like crazy. I am still wearing my contraption, as you can see underneath the shirt here, but the ones they're down like at the bottom. Like if you put your hand on your rib cage, like towards the bottom of your rib cage, that's where I've got like three of them, and they're only about that far apart from each other, so they kind of go on this side here. Oh my gosh, you guys, they itch so badly. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. I don't recall having this issue before with these things. These ones up here, this one and then the one up on my shoulder, isn't bothering me. It's the ones down below. Um, I don't know if maybe it was rubbing against my shirt today or something. Fun fact about me, I do have a latex allergy. So I don't know, maybe there's something that's, counteracting with my skin. I don't know. So originally when I had it put on yesterday, the lady said to me, so it's 48 hours. So she said, because I had it put on about 11:30, she goes, if you take it off at 10 o'clock, you should be fine, right? Like 10 in the morning. I thought, oh yeah, that's no problem. I can take it off at 10, shower, and get it back to them before 11:30 tomorrow. And then this morning it was starting to bug me. And I'm like, okay, I'll take it off at 9. It's not a big deal. And then it started to bother me even more after lunch. And I'm like, okay, 8 o'clock, I think, is when it's going to come off. And then by now that I'm sitting here, I'm like, if I can make it to 7 in the morning without ripping it off, I will be impressed. And I don't think they're going to have a problem with it. A lot of the times when I've worn them before for the 24-hour ones, I would often, I would have it put on at, let's say 11 in the morning. I would take it off at 6 o'clock the next morning, or even earlier, because I would have to get it back. And I want to shower before I go, and I have to take it back and then start my day, kind of an idea. So as close as you can possibly get, I'm giving them almost 2 full days and 2 full nights. I think that's perfectly acceptable. The second I get out of bed tomorrow, I don't care if it's 4:30 in the morning, it's coming off. And if my cardiologist asks me about it and says, oh, we noticed it came off 6 hours early, I'm going to say I was itching like crazy. I went into the bathroom and I looked, and I've actually got looks like a bite. There's a red mark, and it's raised. So I don't know what's going on. I'm half tempted to take the one off now, and just because I'm surprised. They must be on with crazy glue, because typically at this point I have usually popped one off. Either the sticker itself has fallen off, or the actual cord has come unattached, because it just pops onto the little metal thing here, right? Oh, it's kind of goofy. Um, so yeah, so sorry. That's just my little rant and complaint. I do apologize, you guys. It was a very uneventful day, other than, my extreme itch from this. I gotta stop thinking about it. Um, I didn't really do anything today. All I did was take the husband to work. I did some stuff, I had to do some stuff around, I didn't have to go anywhere to do anything. I made a few phone calls today. The good news is I do have a consultation set up on Monday with um, a psychologist, not a psychiatrist, a psychologist. I have to remember the difference between the two. Because I had to call my healthcare benefits provider through work, because even though I'm going to be on this short-term disability thing, or this medical health thing off of work, I still do have full benefits during this time, so that's great. So I called, and because I wanted to know what was covered in regards to that, because I was looking online, and some of these places are really expensive, you guys. I don't know how the average person affords it if they don't have coverage. They're looking some of them I was looking at were excuse me, hiccups, $100 to $200 a session. That's insane. So I and they're hour-long sessions. So I called around, and I found one, and they take benefits, they take my benefits, and I get a free 15-minute consultation to sit with the person, and we kind of go through everything, and then they decide, who's going to be best for me to see, because it's a group of people at this place. But that's on Monday. I'll say it's 3 o'clock on Monday afternoon or something like that. So anyway, it's only 15 minutes. It's just kind of an initial to get me in. I probably have to pay up front, for each appointment. I would probably have to pay to go in, but then I can claim it through my benefits. And with my benefits are pretty awesome, that I get my money back. I get my refund essentially within 24 hours generally, because it's directly deposited into my bank account, which is super awesome. So that's going to be great. So I hope that's going to help. I think it will, being able to talk to somebody and being able to bounce ideas off somebody and being given some suggestions and things like that. You know, I've noticed just in the last 2 days that I haven't been at work, you know, just because it had gotten to this such a bad point. And I think I said this earlier. I don't want to make it sound like I'm unhappy with the company. I love where I work. I really, really do. I think it's a fantastic company. There are great people that I work with. You know, I really like everybody that I work with. They pay very well, fantastic benefits. You know, it's a good company. And yesterday I went in, I don't know if I mentioned this. I mentioned, I think, that I went in to go drop off the paperwork. But I had two of my coworkers, not the people that I immediately work with, but two people that I work with who who happened to come downstairs when I was at front reception. And they both came up and they chatted with me for a few minutes. Like, people there are freaking amazing. And I'm just so mad that we're in this situation and that this is happening to so many people. And I mean, this isn't just this that's happening right now. This has been this anxiety issue I've been dealing with for a while. So it just kind of this exasperated it, if you will. You know, not that I need to explain it to anybody because it is what it is. And I know, you know, but like I was saying, I haven't had the chest pains that I've been having over the last couple of days. Like today was the first full day. I had, like yesterday, I was getting all stressed out about a few things, and you know, it's not pain, but more pressure, like up in here. So I'm glad I was wearing this because maybe they'll get that on record. But I did note it as an event on my sheet that I was just sitting and that I explained that it was kind of like this pressure and stuff like that. So maybe they'll see something on the ECG. I don't know. But anyway, so you know, I want to go back to work. I don't want to sit forever here. You know what I mean? I like to feel that I'm doing something. I like to feel that, you know, I'm doing something every day. Does that make sense? You know, we all complain about work and we all complain about, oh, it's Monday, I gotta go in and blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, and I've always said this, I've said this for years, that the weekend is even more fun because you put in your dues during the week. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you worked your butt off, so you absolutely deserve the weekend, kind of an idea. Or you absolutely deserve that vacation or that time off or whatever it happens to be. And every now and then you need a mental health day. And like right now, I'm going through some stuff. So it's a few months. I'm taking a few months to deal with these things that I need to deal with. And hopefully when I go back in, I will have tools so that this doesn't happen again. And that's what I'm looking for. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to make this a long clip. You guys are here for books. I'm sorry, it's been kind of a very ranty, whiny, explanation-filled vlog. I'm sure it's going to be hideously long. I think tomorrow, on Friday, I'm going to start editing. If I get some time. I'm pretty busy tomorrow, actually. I'll talk about that tomorrow night, so I don't, like, make this clip extra long, and then I talk about it again tomorrow anyway. So reading-wise, guys, I finished 2 more books today. This is the one bonus of being off of work. I finished an audiobook that I had started yesterday, and that was A Marriage Made in Italy by Rebecca Winters. This is a Harlequin romance novel. It's about a woman who was adopted as a baby, and she finds out later, like in her early 20s, that she is originally from Italy, and that's where her birth family's from and stuff like that. So she ends up flying to Italy, to the small town where she was from, and to try and find out more about her birth mother and stuff like that. And she runs into a guy, and, you know, the story kind of goes from there. It's a very much... I gave this one 3 stars. I really didn't love it. It was a cute story. It was a lot of fun, but towards the end it got so cheesy, you guys. And some of these they do have the tendency to do that, and that's fine. I'm not saying it was a bad book. I'm just saying it's not a Pulitzer Prize winner. Like, at the end, of course, and I've had this complaint before about books, that of course it has to end with her getting pregnant. And the line was actually said in the book, and I got so mad because I thought, how about all these poor people who are waiting forever? Because they'd been married 3 months, and she got pregnant. And I think the line was something like, I didn't think we ever would. You waited 3 months to get pregnant. It's not that long. People wait years and years and still can't have a baby. So, you know, it irked on me. So yeah, again, not a bad story. Rebecca Winters, I like her work, but again, it's not, oh my god, this is the most amazing book ever, but they're very fun and entertaining reads. The narration on this one was really great. I really enjoyed it. It was part of the Audible romance package. This was also a Rita romance, romance readers. The Ritas are the romance novel like book awards, and I can't remember the exact acronym or what it stands for at this point right now. All I'm thinking is this thing really itches. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have a party tomorrow morning when I get to take this thing off. Um, Watch, I'll wake up at 3 in the morning and be like, that's it, I'm done. Anyway, yeah, it was a Rita Award finalist. And I mean, obviously, other people, liked it far better than I did. So, and like I said, it's available on the Audible Romance package if you're interested in checking it out. The other book that I finished today was Exclusive and a Touch of Heaven by Samantha Chase. This was the duology that I was reading, like the anthology, I guess you call it, of the 2 books of hers that were previously published that are now published in 1 volume. This was from NetGalley, so thank you very much to NetGalley and the publisher for sending me this to review. The first story, as I said, Exclusive, I only gave 2.5 stars to. I had my whole rant on that earlier this week. This one I gave 3 stars to. It was okay. I didn't love it. I had some issues with the main character. I found her to be very, very... She loved to argue with her mother. So the whole premise, I think I told you guys yesterday, the whole premise of the story is that her and her mother are now appearing on this reality TV show, like an Extreme Makeover Home Edition kind of idea. And she falls for the contractor, like the main guy. In my head, I keep picturing him as Ty Pennington, which isn't a bad thing. But they end up having a relationship. But she's very argumentative. She's very pushback. It's her mother's house. Granted, half of the money when the house sells is going to go to her. So yes, a little bit of your input would be great. But I felt to the point where she was almost belittling or bullying her mother. So yeah, so I didn't love it. So excuse me, so I gave this one 3.5 stars, not 3 stars. My overall rating for the entire duology or anthology or whatever you want to call it, probably an anthology, is going to be 3 stars. Because the first story I gave 2.5, the second one I gave 3.5. We rounded up, whatever, it's 3 stars for the whole thing. A lot of people love this. So maybe it's just me. I don't know. But yeah, I had a couple problems with the characters. I had problems with the first story. Didn't absolutely love this one, but it is what it is. So what else am I reading? I did start The Last Castle today by Denise Kiernan, I think. The picture will be up here. The woman who wrote The Girls of Atomic City. And she narrates this on audio, which is very entertaining. This is the story of the Biltmore estate in Asheville, North Carolina, which is really funny because there is a podcast that I listen to. It used to be called Food Stuff, which is the history of like food and stuff. Food and stuff. But now it's called Savor. And they spent the first 6 episodes, they went to Asheville. And they did interviews with people and stuff, and then they broke those interviews and that whole time they spent in Asheville into these 6 different episodes, 5 or 6 different episodes, talked about the food industry and stuff. And the Biltmore came up several times when talking about all these different things. So yeah, I'm really fascinated so far. I love history, and I think I'm really going to enjoy this one. I'm only about an hour or so into it. I literally just started it when I was driving my husband home, after I dropped my husband off at work when I was coming home. So yeah, so that is that. My next ebook, I haven't started it yet, but I'll probably do that tomorrow. And, I'm almost finished Dawn on the Coast by Ann M. Martin. I should actually get that one done tonight. Guys, I should probably by tomorrow, because tomorrow would be the cutoff for, books for this vlog. I think I will have finished 8 books this week, so that's insane. Now, to be fair, 2 of them were audiobooks, and they were both under 5 hours long. So that takes me no time to listen to. That I can do in a half a day. So yeah. So anyway, that is it, guys. I will let you go, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, guys. Hi, guys. It is Friday, November the 9th, and it's about 9:45 at night. I am coming to you with a very quick final clip for this vlog. I just edited the very first clip for this vlog, and it was already close to a half an hour. So I'm going to try and keep this one quick. I do a lot of chatting in this vlog, and I apologize for that, you guys. But anyway, so yeah, update on today. What did I do? I was busy. At least I felt busy. I got up this morning. Remember last night I was saying how badly that the thing I had on was itching. I got up at 7:15 this morning. I walked right in the bathroom and popped it off. Then I have those face cloths. I get them from Walmart. They're Equate. They're the Walmart brand. They don't have scents or fragrance or anything to them like that. But I just soaked one in and I just rubbed it all over, and the stuff had like goop on them. And I think that's what was bothering my skin, was that goop or the sticker. I don't know. But it was really unpleasant, and I couldn't wait to get the gosh darn thing off. So then at 10 o'clock I went over and I dropped it off. And then I came back home, and about 1:30 I took Garrett to work. And then after that I stopped at my mom's house for a little visit, and she gave me spaghetti sauce. I texted my husband, I said, Mom gave us a big container of spaghetti sauce. He's like, does she think that we're poor and we need handouts? I'm like, no, Mom's spaghetti sauce is the best. So I was very, very happy to get that. That will make us a good meal for Sunday night. There's just something about, I've replicated it, and mine tastes very similar, but there's just something about my mom's that's just amazing. So anyway, so I got that, and then I went over to my aunt's house for a little visit with her. Then I had a meeting, an appointment, I should say, not a meeting. I had an appointment, a financial, in regards to some financial things, which walking out made me feel a lot better about a lot of things that are going on right now with me being off work for the next little while. Yeah, so that was positive. I came out very happy about that one. And then I decided to treat myself to a sub for dinner from Subway, and I came home and I've been relaxing for most of the night. I am doing a little knitting right now, and like I said, I edited that first clip, and it's already 9:45, and I don't know how much more I'm going to get done before I have to go pick up Garrett from work, so I'm not going to bother editing anymore. I'll do that tomorrow morning. Somebody asked in one of my in a comment, I think it was on my last vlog, does Garrett mind being in the vlogs? No, he doesn't. It's just that anytime I've ever shown him, he's usually busy on his laptop, probably playing World of Warcraft. So, yeah, he's got no problem. When I had the knitting podcast, it was like my 10th episode, or, you know, somewhere around the 10th episode, Garrett actually does an entire video with me. He had his own YouTube channel for a while. He was talking about collecting, Star Wars collecting and stuff like that. He's taken it down because he just, you know, he wasn't growing like the subscribers and stuff like that, and he kind of lost interest in it. So yeah, he's got no problem being in front of the camera. Well, actually, this just dawned on me. I had 1,000 subscribers yesterday, you guys. So thank you all so much. I'm so super thrilled. So I don't know. I was gonna do a Q&A if anybody would be interested. I know I did it for my 500, and I didn't. Yeah, I got some questions, which was great, but I didn't get a lot of them. So you guys let me know in the comments below, and maybe I can persuade Garrett to come on. And, you know, if you have any Star Wars related questions, he would be your go-to. But no, seriously, like, if there's, I know I've seen them go around like a husband tag, or I know they call it a boyfriend tag, but it'd be the same idea. If you guys are interested in seeing that, I would be more than happy to do that kind of video, and I'm sure he would be thrilled. You know, or even, isn't there like a book partner tag or something like that? That might be fun, because he does read quite a bit. And his tastes are vastly different than from my own. So that would be kind of fun if you guys would be interested. So please, again, let me know in the comments below. So anyway, I said I was going to keep this clip short, and I'm not doing that. So reading-wise, I did not actually get a lot of reading done today, because as I just said, I've been out of the house for most of the day. I started yesterday. I got a bit more read today on Biltmore by Denise Kieran, I believe is her name. I'm enjoying it. It's really, really interesting, but I don't have a lot of thoughts on it. I really only maybe got another hour done today. With all the other books that I finished this week, that's perfectly acceptable if I'm a little, if I kind of took a mini break from reading for today. Or not a break, but you know what I mean. I started also reading, my ebook is Sweet Dreams Baby by C.J. Carmichael, the 12th and final book in the Love at the Chocolate Shop series. This one is about Portia, and she is kind of, you followed her throughout the entire series, like you met her in the first book, and she didn't know she was pregnant, and then you find out at the end of that first book, spoiler alert, that she's pregnant. So then it kind of carries through the rest of the books with her pregnancy, and now she had the baby 3 books earlier or something like that, 2 or 3 books ago, and now the father is finally finding out. So yeah, these are really cute, really, excuse me, again, the hiccups. Really cute, really sweet stories, and I'm really, really enjoying it. What else? Oh, I finished another book today. That is my 9th book this week that I finished, you guys. That's insane. No, but when I was going back and editing that first clip from this week's vlog, I finished 2 books on Saturday, last Saturday. So that was kind of like the jump start to my week. Anyway, I finished Dawn on the Coast by Anna M. Martin, book 23 in the Babysitters Club. I gave this one 4 stars. This is a really cute story. I've mentioned it. You know, Dawn goes back home, back to her, visit her dad and her brother in California where she was born and raised. And, you know, is kind of making the decision, does she stay in California or does she come back to Connecticut? So I gave it 4 stars. It's not the best story in the Babysitters Club series, but it holds a special place in my heart because, like I think I mentioned, it was the very first one that I ever read. So it will always stand as being one of my favorites. But anyway, that is it for this clip and for this vlog, you guys. Thank you, as usual, so very much for watching. I do so much appreciate it. Thank you again to all my subscribers. I'm so super thrilled with that. That seriously made my day when I saw it last night. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys all in my next video. Until then, take care and happy reading, everybody. Bye.